It's for me.
All right, call the November 12th meeting to order. Auditor Heifel, will you read it? Pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First item on the agenda is to approve our agenda.
Move.
Motion by Weeds, second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next, we'll open the meeting up for any public comment. Anyone wish to address the commission? Senator Perry.
Yeah.
What?
Actually, the reason I want to address you is a couple things. I know I was getting a little ribbing on Assistant Majority Leader, which is really good, but I wanted to let you know what that meant for the county, all right? We had, in the past, Paul Dennert has been a leader on the House side, and so is Herseth. And on the Senate side, we've had Bud Wood and Joe Barnett back in 1979, and Norstrup was a majority whip at one point, and Cutler was another person. But these are names that have been there through the years. But this is really good for Aberdeen, for Brown County, in this area, because Brandy Schaefbauer is now a majority whip. And what that means is she's on the State Affairs Committee, she's on the House side, and that's really a good thing for us. And then myself, I'm on the Senate side, and I'm also on the State Affairs Committee. So I know that we've had a lot of different things in the past with the counties, and sometimes they get caught up and leadership kills them. But I'm going to tell you for sure that the current leadership is definitely county-oriented, and that's all I wanted to tell you.
We appreciate that. Thank you, and congratulations on your...
It's a big deal. It really is a good deal.
You bet.
So, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Carl.
Anyone else wish to address the commission, out there online or on the phone? All right, we will move on. First reading, Ordinance 283.
Ordinance 283 is ordinance amending Title 4, second revision, Brown County Ordinance as amended, to rezone certain property filed by Lakota Acres, Brian and Lisa Larson, to go from Egg Preservation District to Mini Egg District.
Is there anyone here to speak to Ordinance 283? This is first reading, so entertain a motion to approve.
Move.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Gage. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, not to be late, Rachel Chipley. Good morning.
We got a number of things in front of you. I don't know if you want to just go in order. You have the packet there. First thing is the portable toilets. We had one bid come in, and the first year's actually the same as what it was the last 3 years. They've done a really amazing job. A lot of compliments out at the fair on how clean the porta potties are, and they always look pretty new. So we're excited to have them on board for 3 more years.
All right, your recommendation is to approve.
It is.
Move. Second.
Okay, motion by Weiss, second by Feldheim. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Second thing was that fair board appointment. Eric Pagers had put his name in the hat, and so the board unanimously recommends a 3-year term for him.
I'll move. Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Third thing was the golf cart quotes. We actually found a second company. NV Carts has been good, but this one's a little bit cheaper. The biggest difference is, so NV Golf Carts is out of Minnesota, Hendricks, Minnesota, and this one is out of Fargo. The biggest difference is the 6-seaters that we use for the courtesy carts that a variety of the different businesses run for us. This particular company only charges $400 for the whole week, whereas the last company was $1,000 for each of those carts. So. And they are willing to hold the line on the price for 3 years, so we would recommend approval of trying that new company.
Very good.
Move.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Feldheim. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Fourth thing on there, this would be a replacement for our featured act in the Avera Kids Zone. So the last few years, we've done a petting zoo, and this is a dog show. We have had dog shows in the past. This one will be new, though. They call it Jurassic Park. So it'll be $9,000 plus hotel rooms for the staff to stay for the week. The nice thing about this is they are willing to come and do 7 full days of shows, so it'll be 3 days on the weekday, or 3 shows on the weekdays, 4 on the weekends. And we've talked a lot about trying to expand the week. You know, Tuesdays are getting more popular, and they'll actually be starting on a Monday and closing on a Sunday, so we'll have something out there for a full 7 days, so.
Great.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Next item is the Lumberjack Show. The Fair Board did want to try them for a second year. Last year it was $12,000. It'll be the same amount again for a grandstand show, and still discussions on if that's going to be included in that package ticket similar to last year. I imagine that's probably what they'll do, but still firming up the details on how tickets will run for that. And then going forward, we have had, just a side note, nothing to do with that, but some interest in bringing back a demo derby. We've had 2 or 3 different people contacting the board wanting to have discussions on that. So just letting people know 2025 is already set if you approve this, but maybe in the future they can sit down and discuss that for 2026.
Okay, I'll move. Motion by Dennert,
Second.
second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Next contract is for the grandstand cleaning. We had the Northwestern post-party prom under Darren Olson's name doing it the last 2 years, so this is the 3rd of 3-year option that they're wishing to exercise if you guys are in for it, and the board recommends approval.
Okay,
Move.
motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And then later in the agenda, you'll have a travel request from us. Last week you approved, we're sending, Mackenzie and I will be going this week to the Rocky Mountain Fair Association from Wednesday to coming back Saturday. And then next week, the Heartland Convention in Minot, there's 7 board members who are available to go. So those are really important for them to be able to see what acts are there. A lot of our special events committee goes to see like who they want to bring to our fair. This particular approval today would be for those board members next week to go to Minot.
That's two vehicles to go to Minot?
Yeah.
All right.
You've been very busy.
Yeah, working. The more we do now, the more time we got later, right?
There you go. Yep, comes quick.
Any questions for me?
Good stuff.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, we will.
Rachel?
Yeah.
Oh, do you have an extra sheet back there?
I have the agenda. I don't have any sheet on any of that.
Nope.
I can get you the copies of the contracts. or
Yeah,
maybe
that's fine.
Make copies of
Sure.
them now.
All right, next up, Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent, right away for Dustin Usselman. I haven't seen Dirk come in. Is Dirk online?
It is.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's on there.
Hey, can you hear me?
There you are, yes. Morning, Dirk.
How are you guys?
Good, and you?
Good. I appreciate that the fair manager, Kipley, could manage to show up this time and keep it on schedule.
So where are you?
Rachel.
Take a good look. We got a little commotion here today, nothing bad, but just working through a few things with our snow removal plan. So I got in front of you there is just a drain from a sump pump. It's in one of those houses up there on North Roosevelt, Brown County 12 there north of Fairgrounds. The last few years they've been splitting up. I think there was maybe 3 big lots in there. They've split into a few houses now, and this is just putting the sump drain out into the edge of the county road. We don't have a whole bunch of these that I'm aware of. I'm sure there's a bunch that we're not aware of. The only one that was ever a problem is a guy put his gray water from the sewer out there, from his septic out there, and it rotted over about every 60 days. So we try to avoid that, but I have no problem with this. I'd recommend it for approval.
All right, entertain a motion to approve.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Anything else for us, Dirk?
Nope, not today.
All right, well, good luck with that snow removal plan.
Yeah, they're,
You never have to use it.
they're not arguing too bad. I said I'd let them figure it out until they got in a fight, and then I'll just jump in the middle and make a bad decision, so we'll see how it goes.
Look forward to
All
that.
right, thank you.
Thanks, Dirk.
You bet, bye-bye.
All right, next up, Sheriff Lunsman with an department update. Morning, Sheriff.
Morning.
Morning. Morning.
All right. Well, a couple things. We'll start off with some good things before we go to the hard things. First one I'd like to bring up is we had our third annual Halloween passport for the Brown County offices, which went very, very well. We had nearly 500 of the passports handed out, and not everybody grabbed them. Some were from out of town, some were from out of state. In fact, we had kids from Alaska here visiting their grandparents. So there's no doubt we had probably a little over 1,000 people, maybe more, traveling through all the halls and out in the grass and everywhere in a beautiful day. So it was a big success. I think everybody really liked it, and all the prizes should be all handed out by the end of the week. So another good success there. The next thing is that in the next week or two, we will be coming again to you guys.
Put somebody else's name on, some funky name Dave said, but
Anyway, the other thing in the next week or two, we will also have another group of people with CPR saves. We'll have probably 3 of our deputies that performed admirably, and as of right now that I'm aware of, we still have, he's still alive, so that's a good thing. So we'll bring in more details in the next couple weeks. Now, for a little bit harder part, I just kind of want to, I waited about a month because I was just a little upset, so I just thought, well, I'll just calm down and I'll come here. And Chairman Sutton came in and visited with me about this body had decided that I won't get a raise for 2025. So I wanted to come and ask if all 5 of you were in the same mode, or if there were 3 or 4 or 5 of you guys, if that was the case for all of you guys who were in agreement or not.
Best of my knowledge, Dave, I think we were all in agreement. I could be wrong, but I believe we were all in agreement.
Okay.
And I was asked to come and deliver
we don't
that
want
message.
to.
Okay, fair enough. Now, with that said, as I understood from Chairman Sutton, is that this all surrounds about the fact that I made a bad decision by hiring my wife. Is that correct, or is there more to it, or is that basically generally the consensus?
In my opinion, and the others are welcome to join in, this was our way of extending our displeasure with the fact that MJ was hired and that she's working from home, and the complaints that we've heard from John Q. Public as to why aren't you fixing that, why can't you fix that, why can't you stop that.
So my question is, have you told John Q. Public, whoever this is, to come and talk to me directly?
Well, if anyone has questioned me, Dave, I have.
Okay.
I've explained to them that, you're an elected official, we're all on an equal playing field. What you do is your decision, and we have very little, if any, say over the decisions you make.
Okay.
So that's been my response when I've been asked. And feel free to jump in, anyone else.
Okay, if not, now, if that's the reason, and those are, I don't know if those are the metrics
Oh,
that
I
you
thought you went
used or
down
didn't
here and
use, or whatever. Did you use the same metrics
Yeah.
for all elected
Understand.
officials, or is it just randomly, you were mad at me, and so decided not to do a raise for me?
The decision to do what we did was the decision that we reached, and it applies to you.
Okay.
Because to the best of my knowledge, I have not heard any other complaints regarding other elected officials and the actions they've taken, and the negativity surrounding their decisions that led to us to make our decision.
Okay, so if maybe I just ask you directly, so if I were to fire my wife or she would quit, would the raise come back, or is this just a done deal?
Again, anyone else is welcome to join in here. I, for one, would look at that as a positive move, Dave, and again, I, as one of 5, would reconsider our action, because I personally feel that is the source of the frustration by, again, John Q. Public and fellow employees within the county.
And I appreciate that, Dwayne. The thing is that the way I see this, and I could be totally wrong, it appears to me that it's one elected office trying to control what another elected office does. And I think in the past, that's kind of why our Constitution, that's why our laws were all set up, was to avoid that from happening from this body or anybody other body to control what the sheriff does. So, and you know, this is not the first time, I believe. Obviously, some of the examples I can go through just real quickly is, you know, you guys had tried to take away the key access for my supervision for the key access for the jail and the courthouse. Again, that was, to me, another way for you guys to try to control what I do and how I do my job, which obviously is not correct. You wanted to take one of my employees away from me for my supervision. You know, that's another way to try to control what I did. Another one, I supervise dispatch. I don't know if the John Q. Public knows that, but when you guys had discussions about making it its own entity, I wasn't even invited to the party. And when I asked to come to the party, I was told, you're not invited. You can't come because it's about you, not about dispatch. Now, that doesn't seem right. I oversee it. I should have the ability to come and have a say or two about what's going on there. That didn't happen. The other thing is, you know, this is a minor one, but it isn't minor. There was a bill presented to this commission for an employee to do some training. It was $33. They did $33 worth of training. You rejected that bill, even though in the past it's been authorized. I decided not to fight about that. I went to her and I compensated her out of my own pocket, just to make her whole, make it not be a big deal. But again, that's the way I think this body is trying to control what the sheriff's office does. Also, when I approached the commission about the issue with the police department not assisting us on the 24/7, and this is just my opinion, that you didn't show much of an interest of what happened. And even when you knew about the evaluation from the impartial third party who found that what I told you was correct, you didn't show much interest in backing me or correcting the record or backing dispatch even, which to me is kind of sad. So again, that's where we're at. And then of course there was a incident which I always called it a complaint, but according to the state's attorney's office, according to here, that my wife and I were investigated for a non-complaint, because every time I asked for a complaint, they said there's no complaint. So there was an investigation about a non-complaint. And then when I asked for a copy of it, I can't get it. But for some reason, a reporter comes to me after the fact with details that appeared to have come out of this body. I didn't know any of those details, but yet he did. So I don't understand how that happened either. It just seems like every time I turn around, you're trying to impede what I'm trying to do. It's almost impossible for me to keep up to doing my job the way the taxpayers want me to do.
Can I
pause a moment?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
On the agenda, it says department update. Is that what you put on the agenda, or?
That's what I asked for, and I will be getting to the rest of the update as we go here.
Okay, because this sounds like personnel issues as opposed to a department update.
But I am the personnel, so I guess we get both in there. I'm gonna talk about the coroner's office in a minute here for an update, but I'm prefacing where we're heading to. So, as I see it, this is my opinion. This appears that if the commission is basically wanting to neuter the sheriff's office and my powers, which is provided by law. This is exactly why the forefathers separated this, and as we are all from a farming community, once you neuter something, it doesn't come back. It's done. And I don't want to see that for my office because you guys are mad at me. The next sheriff or the next sheriff or the next sheriff needs to have these powers, and it's important to allow that to happen. The other part that I want to make sure that the people out there understand that are the taxpayers that I know you're unhappy with me hiring my wife. I get it. But she didn't want to be hired. She wanted to voluntarily do these services for free, and she has the degrees to back up what she was going to do for me. So I didn't just hire some Joe Schmo that had no experience or no background or no experience in whatsoever. I hired somebody that does have a professional degree in what I needed in order to be able to get this done, and she wanted to do it for free. So this county is actually paying for something that was offered for a free service. And you know, it wasn't that many years ago here in Brown County, during Sheriff Oaks' time, his wife ran the office. She didn't get paid. She did it for free. The friends of ours up in North Dakota just recently, a sheriff retired, but his wife was the manager of the whole jail. She's still there. He retired, but they were there doing it for 30 years together. It's not an uncommon practice at all. Now, the reason I go to this is that, and you're saying that I shouldn't be receiving a raise on a bad decision, or what you perceive to be a bad decision. As I recall, and I'm going to point this out because I think it's relevant to the situation, is you guys decided to take care of a jail situation, buy a building for $4.5 million. A year later, you sold it for a $500,000 loss, not including carrying costs or any of the auxiliary costs. To me, that's at a whole chain reaction going on here. Once it was sold, I warned you guys that I'd have to move people out. This year alone, it's going to cost the taxpayers $250,000 to house those prisoners in other facilities. So that's another chain reaction. And besides that, Edmonds County wouldn't be building a jail today if we would have continued with that building. It wouldn't be at all.
And where did you think the $27 million was gonna come to start with that building out there? Didn't everything lie heavily on the state coming in, and the state said no?
Correct.
The only option we had was a bond issue or an opt-out. I can tell you how that would've went in Aberdeen, South Dakota.
But did we try?
Well, it's been tried in the past, and it's failed miserably in the past.
But now are the taxpayers, if we explain to the taxpayers that
Well,
they're
I guess
gonna lose all this
that's a
money?
$1 million question. I don't know that anybody knows that.
But we didn't try.
But if you remember, Dave, we agreed to purchase that building with the understanding that we had 1 year, I believe it was from April 1st till April 1st, that if we hadn't secured 40% of the necessary funding, that we would sell the building. We lived up to that agreement. That was the understanding under which we purchased that building. We went through the steps. Are any of us happy that we lost the $500,000? Absolutely not. But it was a decision we felt we had to make because that building just was not going to come together in a timely enough manner. And you're right, we didn't try a bond issue or an opt-out because, as Commissioner Feldheim stated, we've never been successful on any opt-out that we've ever tried to pass. Would it have been successful? Who knows? but it's
Correct.
water under the bridge now.
Well, unfortunately, that same decision creates more money that's gonna be paid every single year to other facilities.
We realize
For us.
that every day.
Housing, like it or not, that's what's gonna do. So, was that a bad decision or not? I guess that's up for the voters and the taxpayers to decide. So, anyway, I'm gonna move on to the coroner decision. The coroner's deal here is that when I became sheriff, you asked me to be the coroner. It seems like a good fit, always has worked out very well. I believe everybody has been very happy with our services. I didn't bring any cards, but I have a card that we give out now that helps people with phone numbers and addresses and a nice word to comfort the family when we go to them, so they have a one-stop shop, and here's the phone numbers to get a hold of if you need anything. And I think it's a great deal for them. But when I took that on, I didn't ask for any compensation at the time, because I told you guys, I didn't know how much time it was gonna take. I had no idea whatsoever. But after 2 years of doing this, I do know that it does take a lot of my time, my chief deputy's time. We're both salaried. We both take time out of our families' lives to go out to these scenes, both of us do. We're the only two that do the paperwork to the state, just so that it's consistent every single time. So, I take on extra duties, and it seems like I get kicked in the teeth, yet, and I don't know all the details about the state's attorney, but she gets a raise of $25,000, and as I understand, no extra duties. But yet I get nothing, and I got more duties, but I'd say this is a good time for me to put in a formal request that I checked around with Cottington County. They're very similar to us. If we go with their metrics, it would have cost the county $27,000 just for body removal. So I'm asking for a $12,000 raise for myself, or compensating me $12,000 and compensating the chief deputy $12,000 a year. That would be a total of $24,000 a year. And the Cottington County is going to raise theirs, or at least it appears they're going to be raising theirs for next year. So,
If I can interrupt for just a minute, Dave.
Yes.
Did you realize any of this in June?
What?
When we were going through our budget process, did you have a clue that you might be asking for this? And if you did, why didn't you include it in your budget for next year?
That's a great question. I had hoped that we would be able to continue on the way we are doing this, and I had also hoped that with just the normal attrition, with the normal raises and stuff, I would suck it up. I would suck it up for the county. But with the fact that with what I am dealing with right here, I don't think I need to suck it up anymore. I think that it's not unfair for me to ask for a compensation for something that my chief deputy never asked for. I put it upon him, and that we are spending a pile more time in doing these duties. And I was going to leave it alone, but now with the fact of, no doubt, it appears to me that you guys don't appreciate the amount of work that we have taken on and do. That's why I'm asking for it now, because if there's no appreciation, I might as well be compensated. So should my chief deputy, because we do go out a lot more on scenes and picking up people's bodies, and no one wants to talk about this. People think that coroner's job is simple. You go pick up a body and you go deliver it and you're done. Well, I don't want to get too gross here, but when people, and this is human life, and it's the same thing on the farm, something passes away and that body lays there for a few days, few weeks, or even a month or more. Somebody's got to go retrieve that body, and it's not that simple to do. We have to, and it may take hours to pick up those types of human remains, and we want to be dignified to these families, and to take the extra time and to do the work the way that the families deserve to have it. It's work, and thankfully in town we're very lucky that the fire department helps us out, and when we need a body removal, they do come and help, and they charge us for the equipment only, not the bodies that are in the equipment. And I'm thankful every time, but every time we're outside of the city limits, we're solely on us. to do that work. And if I have to pull more people on, they're all compensated by hourly wages. The chief deputy and I myself are not. We do this as part of our duties. So anyway, that's what I would like. I would believe it's not unreasonable to ask for those types of things. And if you guys so choose that you don't want to compensate accordingly, I may have to rethink what I do with the coroner's job, just because I don't think it's fair for my chief deputy or myself. You know, and one of the sad things is I've been in law enforcement over 34 years. I'm going on my 35th year right now. I've spent 10 years with the police department, 18 with the Division of Criminal Investigation, and I've been here since 2018. You know, and even in this body, I didn't have any problem communicating, or you guys communicating with me when I was chief deputy, but as soon as I became sheriff, it just seems like all the brakes went on, and there were roadblocks put in there, and it's unfortunate. I think we should be working together better than what we are. We should be communicating. There's a lot of times it's one-sided. You listen to everybody else, but you don't come and ask me. Get both sides before you decide to go vote against me. That's all I'm asking. It's really just a fair shot at this, is that I'm not going to tell you a lie. I'm going to tell you the straight up truth. You like it or don't like it, or you go against me after you get both sides, great. Do that. That's fine. I just would like some type of open communication, and if you guys all have my phone numbers. You know how to get to my office. But even the last time I talked about this, I've received one phone call and then one visit from Dwayne telling me what we're here talking about today. And that's it. Otherwise, I've reached out to you guys, not a lot, probably need to reach out to you more, but still, I would hope that you'd want both sides before you make a decision. So, anyway,
To address your statement, Dave, that you felt we were neutering your office, I guess I would beg to differ, because as we've been told, we as a commission have very little oversight over your department. You are an elected official. You have the right to run your department the way you see fit, the hiring, the firing, and so on. The little bit of control we do have is the purse strings, and that's why we made the decision to withhold your compensation increase for 2025, which I told you when we visited. And another area that we do have oversight over is the training. And I believe in that meeting, I asked you for a copy of your training policy.
which I've anticipated.
And I provided you with the SDCL, the area that authorized us to oversee your training.
Well, to oversee that there's a policy in place, that's what the statute says, not
Right.
to oversee our training.
Exactly.
Yes, and I anticipated that and brought that today, so you guys can look at it. If you have questions, you certainly ask. Now, just so you understand, this policy is, except for 2 or 3 words, totally just switched around a little bit. This is the identical policy that you guys authorized for Sheriff Milbrandt in the past. There's, besides just a twist of a word and a spelling, it's identical to what you guys authorized for him.
And who is administering the training?
Right now, our jail administrator, my jail assistant administrator are taking care of, if we want to call it a training program, it is the best that we can do with what we have right at this minute.
So I have a question.
Sure.
You said your wife would gladly have done this voluntarily. What is her title exactly?
She is actually titled as a CO, or a correctional officer.
Since she works out of home, she doesn't come to the jail. So how does she get paid overtime on the 4th of July if she's still at home? Well, that's probably the only employee we have working outside the courthouse, is your wife.
No, that's not true.
Except probably the sheriff's department. You may have a couple other ones, but there isn't anybody in this building that works on weekends, out of the office, does that type of work. So I have a hard time with paying somebody that's overtime, that's a CO that is not actually in the jail being a CO. She's being a CO at home.
Right, and
I have a hard time wrapping my head around how that all works.
but I can answer the July 4th one. She didn't understand on July 4th that would be in an overtime thing. She had no idea. She had some free time, so she decided to do some of the prep work and some of the work that she knew needed to be done. She had no idea. That was a mistake, yes, but it was not intended to be an overtime thing on her part in any way, shape, or form. She's more used to working volunteer, so whenever she has time, she does the work, not worrying about hours or pay or anything like that. And that was one of those things that just happened. And if she was or would have been able to be volunteered, none of that would have been a problem. Any other questions or anything else you guys want? The training thing was passed around. If you have other questions, you're more than welcome to ask about the training. And there are, I think, 10 other topics or 9 other topics that are on that list, and if you want to see those, the only thing that really changed in that book from Sheriff Milbrandt are the stuff that you guys changed, to executive time, all that stuff from, I don't even remember what the other system was anymore. That was taken out and executive time was put into that. Any other changes you guys made county-wide is really the bigger changes that went into that policy manual. Otherwise, policy manual is basically the same thing that you guys authorized for Mark.
Any other questions for Dave? Any other comments anyone would like to make?
There's a reason I'm working from home. Nobody's asked.
I didn't get what you
I'm
said.
sorry, what's that? Let us know who you are,
There's a reason that
please.
MJ's working from home, and nobody's communicated that.
I still didn't hear what she said.
Something about MJ's work.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Forget about it. They don't want to communicate with you.
I think I just asked the question about her working from home, if that was the question.
And it was answered, yes. I think it was sufficiently answered. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, let me chip in.
Sure.
I mean, you went over a number of things, obviously, and I don't need to retrudge that ground, obviously. The past year, just to put it simply, relations between your department and the commission have had a lot of, we're going to say mostly downs. There's been a lot of issues that you went over. What do we do to make this better? How can your department and the commission, because I don't think we're to the point where this is just not going to work out. I mean, I think the ball is kind of in your court as far as, and in both of ours, in fairness. I mean, the future is the future. I don't think that this is just some situation that, you know, can't fix itself. Specifically the jail, you know, I think that'd be an answer, that a conversation that I think is still worth having. You know, the building out there was sold. You know, there was a lot of people, and, you know, not just Brown County, a lot of counties that were hoping for some kind of a low-interest loan program from the state or some kind of funding program from the state. I do think the state dropped the ball there in not helping counties out, at least a little bit. You know, it was kind of a split vote. There was a lot of support for it, but there was enough opposition to kill it. But both the jail and just in general, I do think we need to be having conversations on what we can do to improve relations going into the future. So it doesn't have to be something you answer right now if you want it to be. You know, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, we can have a conversation later. I think we need to open the door to try to improve relations. Obviously, there's been some issues, you know, that you talked about.
The biggest thing that I've asked and said is that, you know, just because somebody says it out in the public doesn't make it true. Same way as when they talk bad about you guys, it doesn't make it true. I would like the courtesy of, give me a call, stop into my office, hey, I heard this, what's going on? I'll tell you, I don't have any problem with that. With the jail, first and foremost is that the jail would do better with the training program. Every other jail that's of our size or higher has some formalized training program. And we had and hopefully still have an opportunity to get a formalized training program. Sioux Falls does it 8 weeks. And that's before they ever really get on the floor or get to graduate and go to do their jobs. Okay, I'm not suggesting or promoting a full 8-week program because we don't have the time right now to do that, but I'm looking for a formalized, and been working on that, and there's a lot of reasons, and we can talk about it at another time, that it hasn't progressed at this point. But if we have a formalized training, exactly everybody the same for a minimum of 2 full weeks of the computer training, this is how the policy works, this is how the procedure works, this is who you look to answer your questions if you're on shift. Those are types of things that we have to have for these new employees. Now, there's no doubt, good, bad, or otherwise, this generation of workers are different. They have to be trained differently. You know, there's a few of us around here a little longer in the tooth. We were thrown into the deep end in a lot of things, and you either sink or swim. Today's society is not working like that. We have to give them more guidance. We have to give them a good foundation in order for them to be successful. And if we can, in today's society, those in CO work or in law enforcement work, their lifespans are short. They really are. And that's everywhere. It's not just here. But the better we can give them a foundation of training, the more comfortable they are in their job title, the longer we can make their lifespan within this job title. You know, we're not going to keep them all. That's not possible, but every single one we can is better for not only for the jail, the inmates, the county, the taxpayers, and for me. So that's what I'm looking for, is to give that good foundation so that they can do their job competently and they feel comfortable with it. Once we get beyond that, then things will be better.
Well, I, for one, Dave, when I asked you to have you bring over your training program, I was hoping for a binder with what you actually go through for the training, not just kind of an overview of what's available. I want to see your training, what those new employees are seeing, what they're learning, what they're reading, what they're being taught.
Well,
that's what I envisioned you bringing over.
And this is in the policy manual. That's the way it's always been. Right now,
I want to see your training manual.
There isn't a training manual just yet. It's in
Who's
construction. It's in construction.
Who's working on that?
Well, right now, no one, because my wife is injured at this moment and out of commission, not able to actually do the work. So she was working on trying to do that, but we're back to square one. We're back to training the way we were, and that is, unfortunately, we follow what we have to, which is some of the requirements by federal standards and by state standards and by our standards, and then we put them out and they learn on the job, is what they're doing right now.
Do her degrees specifically enable her or give her the ability and the knowledge to do law enforcement training?
Well, that's a kind of a open question, because with her degrees, she does have a CTE standards in her degree, which is the same as what they utilize at this program in Watertown. So that I don't know if somebody's just got their unmuted button, if they can mute, because we can hear some of that.
I think she just did.
Okay. Anyway, she does have those on her degree, and I mean, if you guys want to see her teaching degree, she's got a master's degree. Now, the fact that she doesn't have every single
Mr. Chairman,
knowledge
we're talking
base.
about personnel matters, and this is an inappropriate time and place for this conversation.
Okay?
Why is it inappropriate if I'm in on this and I'm listening and he's there also talking? I have nothing to hide, and he is there to speak on my behalf.
These are personnel matters, and this is an inappropriate time and place for this
We'll
conversation.
schedule
I
another
don't
time.
believe
to-
so.
We'll schedule another time to
I have
visit with
nothing to
everyone.
hide to the taxpayers.
Okay, is
Okay.
there any other questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Dave.
thank you, appreciate it.
All right, moving on, authorize chairman to sign 2025 MOU for the 4-H educator.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Dennert. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, authorize chairman to sign the air quality permit application for the Brown County landfill.
Move. Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Feldheim. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Moving on to the consent calendar, Lynn.
Approval of the general meeting minutes of November 5th.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Approval of the general election canvass of November 8th.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Feldheim. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report.
Move. Second.
Motion by Dinner, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Cardi Club lease option renewal addendum.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claim assignment.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Dinner. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Landfill tonnage report.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Abatements.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Travel request.
Move. Second.
Right on time.
Motion by Weiss and Feldheim, second by Weiss and Feldheim. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any other business come before the Bryan County Commission this morning? We've had a request to go into executive session for personnel, possibly legal.
I can do a quick update, I don't really have much to.
Okay,
Move.
personnel and legal.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Dennert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Tyler, you're welcome to stay if you would, unless you have to go, so. Now that the election's over, we'll kind of get you up to speed with what you can look forward to. Yep. Okay, lights back on. We are back in session out of exec with no action as a result. Did you have something else for us, Lynn? Okay. Anything else to come before the Brown County Commission this morning?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Denner, second by Weiss to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.